Hello everyone, I'm Joe Ackourey, and welcome to the Fly of the Week. For this episode, episode 62, I'll be tying a Grannom Caddis Emerger pattern. You see, Grannoms start hatching around the third week of April and lasting until the second week of May, at least in my neck of the woods, and trout seem to key on the emerger more so than the adult stage. The pattern I'm about to show you has worked wonders for me in the past, and I highly recommend you adding this to your arsenal. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys, here we go. The Grannom Emerger. So, step one, placing the black bead on the hook. I don't know if you guys could see it, but there's a tiny hole in the bead and a larger hole in the bead. So I want to place the point of the hook through the smaller of the two holes and slide that up and over to the eye, just like so. Whoop, almost lost it. Now, place your hook in the vise. I'm going to place it so that it's pointing down a little bit. Reason being, I'm going to cover the entire shank of the hook with thread. And I'm going to go well into the bend, the critical bend there. And I'd say right about kind of where it starts straightening out again. Just like that, right there. I'm going to actually angle a little bit more. So after I place my bead in, I'm going to put my trailing shuck. And for the trailing shuck material, I'm using my medium dun colored sparkle yarn. Just going to take a couple of fibers. I don't like to go too crazy with this, with the shuck. And I'm going to attach that and wrap that into that bend we talked about. And then make sure that's secured tightly. So the length of this shuck is going to be about 1/4 inch, maybe slightly larger, 3/8 of an inch. And what I like to do then is take my sharp edge of my scissor and kind of just curl these a little bit, just to give it a little bit bigger signature in the water there. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to reorient my hook and continue to cover up the excess material from the trailing shuck right into the bead. And then if I have too much, I'm going to just fold it over and tie down whatever's left over. So now the bead's kind of, flopping around, but I'll secure that a little bit later on in the tie. Okay, so in review, we have our bead, black bead, and we have our trailing shuck that I use my medium dun colored sparkle yarn, and I gave it a little curl with my edge of my scissors. So now the next step is placing the crystal flash in. I love to use pearl crystal flash for this fly. I'm going to attach that to my side of the hook shank and wrap that back right up against the trailing shuck. I don't want to see any gaps between the trailing shuck and the crystal flash. And then I'll place that in my material holder, my material clip. So now, in review, we have our bead, our trailing shuck material, which I curled with my edge of my scissors, a piece of crystal flash, pearl, and now for the body, or the abdomen. I start, the abdomen for this fly is, I choose my black hare's ear. Great color for this emerger. And I'm going to just take a small bit of it and start to dub the abdomen. Attach that to your thread, forming a nice tight noodle, like so. Slide that into position. I don't quite have enough of it there. I'm just going to slowly build this. And as I begin to wrap it, I'm going to just gradually go up the curve of the hook. Okay, looking good. Another application. We're going to go about 80% up the shank of this hook here. And just slowly build this. Okay. Perfect. Just enough room there, maybe a tiny bit more. We got a lot of other materials we're going to place on this emerger. I'll show you, but it's worked magic for me in the past. Okay, so now there's our abdomen. The next step is for the crystal flash, and what I'm going to do is wrap this crystal flash around the abdomen, leaving very little black fur blend visible. I'm going to do tight wraps. These Grannoms go through a relatively quick color phase change from bright green to dark slate gray black quite rapidly. And this is kind of like the transition. That's why I have the color, the crystal flash, the pearl crystal flash. And you can see that green appearance that it gives. And it seems to work really well. So now we have our black bead, which is still flopping around yet. It's getting there though. It's a little bit loose yet, but not a big deal. We put our trailing shuck material, which we curled. We built our abdomen out of the black hare's ear blend. We took a piece of pearl crystal flash and we wrapped it around the entire abdomen, leaving a hint of the black in between. The dominant color is going to be the pearl crystal flash. At least I tried to do that. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So now for the legs. I'm sorry, the wings. The wings, I'm going to use my medium Compara done hair, medium to dark Compara done hair. And I'm going to take a good amount of it, clip off a bunch, kind of comb out the fuzz that's in between. I open up my scissors about a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch. And just kind of draw it out. I poke it into my finger gently, and I kind of push the fuzz out that's in between each fiber. I'm hoping you guys can see that. And then I'm going to stack it with my hair stacker. Okay, and the end result is a nice even bunch of hair. So I want to pull it out, the bunch that I selected, in the direction that the wings are going to go, which are laying back. And I'm going to place that on top of the shank of the hook and kind of collar it all the way around, 360 degrees around. I'm going to push this around the shank of the hook, surrounding the hook. And I'm going to hopefully, yep, good. Tie that in. Looks a mess, guys, but no worries. We'll get this all cleaned up. Tie it in tightly. So you want to clip off all of these cut ends. Try not to hit any of the natural ends just yet. And it's a little messy right now, but you'll see how nice this is going to look when it's done. Just separate those cut ends and get them out of there. There's a bunch there on your side there. Okay. Almost there. Okay. Now, make sure it's tight. So, now we're going to take our scissors and clip off the top of that spun hair that we did. We spun it 360 degrees around the fly. And then we're going to roll it over carefully. Clip off the bottom. Don't clip the black one here. Clean that up carefully. And pretty much there's your wings. Little wings on each side of the abdomen of this emerger. Just refine it a little bit more here. Okay. Looking good. So the wing length that I've neglected to tell you would be just about equal to the just where the critical bend starts. You don't want to go too far, but I feel that's a good length right there. And again, I have some cleaning up to do yet, but we'll take one step at a time. So now that we have the wings in place, I want to review again. I'm going to angle this down a little bit so you can see the trailing shuck again. Okay, so in review, we put our black bead on the hook. We covered the entire shank of the hook with thread. We took some fibers, some medium done fibers for our trailing shuck. We made them approximately 3/8 of an inch long. We took our scissors and we curled it a little bit just to give it a little bigger profile. Then we dubbed our body. Oh, actually, we put our crystal flash in, our piece of pearl crystal flash. We tied that in alongside the shank and up against the trailing shuck with no spaces in between the shuck and the piece of crystal flash. We built our fur blend body out of the black Hare's ear fur blend. We went up about 80% of the hook shank. Once we completed that, we wrapped the crystal flash around that, leaving, very little black fur blend showing. It looks dominant right now, but when this is in the water, this is gonna look awesome. We anchored that pretty tightly, and then we took some of the medium to dark Compara done deer hair. We stacked a little bunch of that, and we tied that in and spun that around the entire fly. And once we anchored that, we clipped it from the top and the bottom, forming these little wing pads here, as you could see, on each side of the shank of the hook. I have a little bit more cleaning up to do, I could see that, but we'll get there. So now we're ready for the thorax. And the thorax is a blend of, I took some of those fibers, those sparkle yarn fibers, and blended it with my black Hare's ear blend. And we're going to take a little bit of that, and we're going to dub that, like nice tight noodle. I'm going to dub that right up against the bead. Just get as much on there as you can without overpowering the fly. That looks good right there. It looks a little bulky, but you'll see what I'm going to do in a second. Let's make sure that that's in there good. The bead is secure now. It's not going anywhere. Tie your knot. Now this fly could be tied with or without the bead. It really doesn't matter to me as far as fishing. It works well both ways. I mean, it depends how you're going to fish it. I mean, when these Grannoms start emerging, a black bead is a good choice. You can jig it off the bottom and bring it up to the surface, but the bead is adding weight. So, it would be a little bit difficult to float this emerger. But a lot of the fish are hitting it as it's coming up, so that's why I use this deeper emerger, fishing this much deeper than I would in the films. And when you tie it without the bead, you could fish it right in the film, where the Grannom gets stuck in the surface tension for a period of time, and the trout are picking them off. So I do both ways. So, okay, that being said, let's finish this fly. So now I'm going to take a very sharp dubbing needle and draw out that thorax a little bit here with those fibers. And I'm going to pick out all this fur and kind of comb it back over the fly. With those sparkle yarn fibers, it adds a bit of, holds a bit of air too. And that gas bubble that these emergers ride up, you know, it imitates it pretty well, actually. So now I'm just going to cover the knot and just kind of work this back into the residuals of the head lacquer, head cement over the fly. And that's pretty much it, guys. Let me pull it out of the vise a little bit higher so you can see it. There's the Grannom Emerger. Great pattern. Relatively easy to tie. But again, you could tie this with or without a bead. And I've really had some great success with this pattern. And yeah, I think you're going to have fun with it. But you got to get out and fish this hatch. I'm telling you. It's not too far away. So make sure you're out there experiencing this one, guys. Thank you for joining me in this episode of the Fly of the Week. And if you like my content that I've been pushing out, please subscribe to our channel. Tight lines, guys.